bam, to the rest of the world, ladies and gentlemen, to 7 billion people or whoever has the internet. We are live 2 days in a row, Chas Snowden. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine. I've done a dozen live videos with you. I've done a ton of audio with you, and I bounce back and forth between Chasity, Chas, Miss Snowden. I think I'm just going to go with Chasity, and then that way, I think that's the old school. Most people don't call you that, though, do they?
Most people call me Chas now.
Have you noticed, though, how she smiles when even when she's frustrated, she goes, no, they don't. Really big. All right, 2 days in a row that I have got to talk with Chasity Snowden, and yesterday and today, she's been gracious enough to bring on one of her contacts, one of her fellow coaches, and of course, they all kind of go through the CrossFit world, and they've been coached and they coach now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pronounce this name. I'm going to take a shot at it. Renee. Did I get it right?
You did amazing.
Thank you. So Renee is living in Australia right now at 7 o'clock. Renee, do me a huge favor so people don't get pissed off at me. Tell everybody really what your last name is, and they'll understand, especially those that know me, why I didn't try.
It's a mouthful. It's Straumietis. It's from Latvia, actually. So no one knows where that is either. But it's over in Europe somewhere. Just leave it at that. Yeah.
Well, and did you say you have parents? One of your parents are from New Zealand?
Both. So both are from New Zealand. Yeah. Yeah. So my dad's grandparents moved to New Zealand during the war. I think there was a big migration from Latvia over to there.
Well, and two, that just so everybody knows that when we before we came on the air, when she told me she was from New Zealand, that sparked a rugby conversation because of the All Blacks,
yes,
which was
best team in the universe.
We could do a whole podcast just on that. That would be fun.
It would be. Just on them, nobody else.
Well, I'd have to bring Ireland in a little bit, the United States maybe.
Yeah, true.
I don't understand the United States team real quick, though, because we're full of athletes, but we just don't grow up playing the sport. I don't think people understand around the rest of the world, soccer and rugby and Australian rules football, a lot of these things, that's what kids do from an early age. It's part of what they do.
Yeah. I guess it would be similar because I've got a baseball background and we have some good baseballers over here. But then when they jump over your side, they're just a small fish in a big pond. But yeah. I think it's just bred into you over here. We've only got, I don't know, it's maybe because we're a smaller population, I guess. And we've just got a couple of codes where I think you guys have so many options with sport that you kind of gravitate to others. But yeah.
I don't know.
Pretty big force.
Every time we do the World Cup comes around, I think, okay, United States, this is our year. First game into it, I'm like, okay, I'm rooting for Ireland again. Here we go, Ireland. Let's go, Ireland. Let's go All Black.
Well, the World Cup
I'm rooting for them, but
I've already forgotten about the last one.
Well, that's right.
Let's change
when you
subjects.
get beat, you just. All right, let's do this. Well, let's do this. So before I give you the floor, Renee, I want to when I quit talking in a second, I'm gonna give you the floor, and I want you to tell people how you got to meet Chasity and the coaching relationship. But I need to tell Chasity something because she believes in being authentic. I need to let you know, Chasity, that eating healthy this right before I came on has cost me dearly. And I'm really ticked off that I'm eating healthy because I was putting my oatmeal up as I was walking into this room and I picked it up by the lid and it's a brand new thing of oatmeal. And as I picked it up, so right now I have my dog blocked off from my kitchen because it looks like somebody killed the oatmeal man in my kitchen. There is oatmeal. I don't know how, but it got on top of the refrigerator. It got over in the dog bowl. I dropped it and it exploded like a oatmeal fountain. And I thought to myself, donuts don't make that kind of mess.
And you probably thought it's all Chastity's fault. I am so mad at Chasity.
Donuts, you just pick up, blow off. They're good. Now, with all that aside, that foolishness out of the way, Renee, tell everybody real quick how you met Chasity, and then we'll have the good conversation.
Well, it was obviously through CrossFit. I was doing that at the time. I think a friend of mine that we used to train with, there was 3 of us girls, Zeus was one of them. She was actually working with another coach from the company Chas was with. And then I wasn't able to work with her, so I got suggested to work with Chas, and that's it. We've been together since, I think it must be like 2 years now, at least.
Yep.
I think maybe longer. So yeah, it's been a great ride.
Yeah.
So did she coach you on the CrossFit side or the nutritional side? How does that work?
Well, it started with CrossFit, and then I told her I was doing kickboxing, and then I said I'm doing kickboxing and CrossFit at the same time, and now I'm like, I'm doing CrossFit. Now we're not doing CrossFit, we're doing baseball. So I throw her all the curveballs. I don't want to save that. But yeah, it started with CrossFit. And then since like wrapping my head around how it works and everything that she teaches you as a coach, I got really interested in trying to coach myself. So I guess she's guided me and Zeus and Jen into how to become a coach, and then also building like our little businesses as well. So she's like she's like a triple threat: nutrition coach, business coach, life coach. Just amazing. Superwoman, you know.
You're not paying her for this. This is,
No, I'm not.
if anybody's getting paid, I'm getting paid, that gummit. Wait a minute. How that work? No, so okay, you said quite a bit. One of the things that I picked up on though is I have a hard time doing one thing when it comes to staying active. So a lot of people can get on a treadmill and they have the mental discipline to stick on music and go bam and just go.
Yeah.
I don't. I have to train for something. I have to have, it's got to be some sort of competition. You mentioned 3 things in 12 seconds: baseball, kickboxing, CrossFit. Or do you have trouble staying in a lane, or do you find that's actually helps you a lot doing different things?
Well, I guess it could be both. It helps me because I don't want to say I get bored, but I think I am very bad at saying yes to a lot of things, and I like to challenge myself. And unfortunately, when I say yes to these challenges, a lot of them happen at the same time. It's not, here's CrossFit, we'll finish with this and then we'll move to the next one. The competitions seem to like happen at the same time. Like last year when the CrossFit kickboxing thing was, I think there was 2 weeks. There was going to be 2 weeks between the fight that I was going to have, and then my coach, like CrossFit coach and kickboxing coach at the time, he just said, look, this is going to be too dangerous, trying to cut weight, do the CrossFit, do the kickboxing, blah, blah, blah. So we decided not to have the fight. But even now with the baseball, without Corona, I think we were supposed to have the baseball competition first, so our national tournament, and then I think a few weeks later I was supposed to have the CrossFit like sanctionals that they have now.
So is the kickboxing thing just, are you not going to have the fight, or you just postponed it?
Oh, no, we didn't end up having it. So I did all the training. It was a thing like I used to do kickboxing when I was younger, and I never got around to having a fight, and I thought this is one thing that I wanted to try and put myself through. But I think each time I've done it, there's that little bit that I don't have. So, you know, that, I don't know. I think it would be different getting thrown in the ring and being like, here, you've got to do it. But I think sometimes the lead up to it, you know, getting punched in the face isn't fun. So you've got to do that kind of day in, day out. And I don't think I had that. I want to be punched in the face every single day. So,
well, the great thing is though, you're young. So if you want to do it later, you can always do it later.
Yeah, I'm on the young side.
If you want to get punched later.
I wouldn't say I'm young anymore.
Well, Chastity, when you're coaching somebody that has that kind of personality, which I think is good because it's functional fitness, I think. If you're good at a lot of sports and you train for a lot of sports, as you get older, I think it becomes functional stuff. You know, the deadlifts and everything you do when you're 20, if you can keep doing them, you don't have to do the weight, but now you can pick up your grandkids because you've stayed fit and strong. Is it a challenge, though, to coach somebody that has the Clint Powell, I'll call it Clint Powell, so bing, 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 bing?
Yeah, it can be a challenge, but I relate to it because I have a tendency to do that, and I have a tendency to get bored. And so it's helpful that I use my own perspective and be like, I understand. It's shiny. It's exciting. It's something new. But if we focus on losing weight for a kickboxing fight, and you're trying to get stronger in CrossFit, those are two separate goals. And so luckily, she's already pretty strong and she can lose weight pretty fast. So we tried to do it, but luckily we pulled one thing because it just got too hard. And that's happened a few times, but it's almost like you have to allow a client sometimes to fail because they won't, like, if you're like, no, you have to choose between one or the other, then they kind of get mad at you. So basically I was like, all right, we'll do the best we can. We have to keep you in a deficit. We have to make weight, but just be careful when you go do CrossFit. Because you can't go really hard when you're in a deficit in CrossFit because your nervous system is going to be wrecked. So it's.
But isn't that? I mean, that's part of coaching. I mean, because you have you kind of know. Yes, I love pets when they, but because you yourself have had to learn things the hard way. Because most driven people, you can tell them all day long, but most driven people are going to touch the stove when it's hot just to make sure it's hot.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
going to go. And so now that she's done this kind of stuff, I bet, Renee, when you talk to other clients as you grow your business, if they have that same attitude, you just kind of smile and go, absolutely, you should try doing all three of those things. Go for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, oh no, there's another one of me out there.
Yeah, we tend to attract ourselves. So a lot of my clients are a lot like me. So, and Renee's a lot like me.
So you started through the CrossFit, and did you now? And again, just because I know just enough about CrossFit to know that I don't know hardly anything about CrossFit.
Yeah.
It's like knowing a little bit of karate. As soon as you fight somebody that knows a lot of karate, you go, "Oh, I don't know anything about karate." You know.
Yeah.
Did you compete at different levels in CrossFit, or was it something you did just to get in shape and for your personal goals and achievements?
I guess when I first started, it was an unknown, and I did it just to stay fit. I went into that after finishing up with baseball. So it was another outlet to be kind of competitive in a group-ish environment. Like, it wasn't a team, but then also too, you've got that individual aspect of it where you're kind of competing against yourself. I did want to do like your local comps, but probably over the last, how long would it be now? Maybe 3 or probably just the 2 years since really working with Chas. I had an amazing CrossFit coach, Andrew Berridge, and I wish I had him like well before, because like I'm 36 now, but it was probably over the last like 2 to 3 years that I worked with him as well that I got, I'm not anything special, but it was as good as I was. So I was the most strong I'd ever been, most fit I'd ever been. And this is like in the back end of my athletic career, I guess you could say. So I competed on a team at the Sanctionals last year, which was like the old regionals. And that's probably like the highest that I've been. And that was a great experience.
And you were top 200 in the world 2 years in a row.
Oh, yeah.
On
Masters.
In the Masters qualifier, like on accident.
Yeah.
Like, because the Masters qualifier, like how I've made the games, you have to be like top 20 in the world. So we compete against everybody in the world versus when you're younger, you compete just in regions. So you have to compete against everybody, be top 200. And then there's another like event over the weekend that all the top 200 do in their gym to try to make it to the CrossFit Games. Well, she made it, like, just to make it to the top 200 in the world is big. And she did that 2 years in a row while she was trying to do baseball and kickboxing and not think about CrossFit. And she's like, oh, by the way, I made that in too. So, and I kind of just did those workouts. So I probably should like compete in that because I made it. And I'm like, Renee, like, you're just good. And you just accidentally made it. Like, most people like are training just to get to the top 200, and she accidentally did it twice.
Well, and two, you said though, Renee, that you're not special. You know, I'm nothing special when it comes to CrossFit. But you said something after that I think makes people special, whether you're CrossFit or you're great in a relationship or you're a great business person or you're good with your kids. And that is, you were just the best you could be. You said, I'm nothing special. I just, I had done the best that I could do. I think when people can do the best they can do in anything in life, that's pretty damn special. Because most people don't ever get to that point where they can say, you know what, I did the best I could.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Very good.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We're here to make t-shirts for you, Renee.
That's my next t-shirt. It's going to say Renee.
Renee.
Everybody has. We got to come up with nicknames for all of your guests now.
I know, right?
Zeus has got a great nickname. I mean, that's just Zeus.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
hers is
She
good.
does not have a woman with 2 lightning bolts instead of just one like Zeus. She's got 2 lightning bolts. We'll come up with nicknames. So how long have you actually been coaching other people now? Has it been 2 years, or is that something you just transitioned into recently?
No, it would just be over a year because some of my clients have just had their 1 year client anniversary. So yeah, just over a year kind of professionally, I'd say, yeah.
Do you like it?
Love it.
Why?
It's really interesting. I mean, for me, I've got people that are all different. I've got people that do CrossFit. I've got mums that have families. I've got, a husband that signed up because his wife does it and he wants to get back in shape. So it's just a wide variety, but it all comes down to the same thing, and people just want to improve themselves, whether it's, for the sport that they're doing or just it all comes down to general health in the end of it, but it's really cool to see just the wide variety of people that you can work with in this.
When you start talking with somebody, they call you up, what do you start listening for? When you're talking to somebody and you're on the phone with them, or you're doing Marco Polo, if you're, but if you're that's for chess. But if you're talking with them, what kind of language are you listening for? What kind of questions are you asking? What does that look like a little bit?
I guess first off, like just trying to work out what they're doing it for. Like if you have people that want to do it for sport, it's completely different for people that want to do weight loss or for health. Like Chas knows, I mean, even us, we're going through a cut at the moment. And people will say, oh my God, you look amazing. Because we've leaned out. Chas has amazing shoulders. My 6-packs come back, but I'm like, I am so hungry. Please don't speak to me because I'll get angry at you. But people see that and go, you look amazing, you're healthy and that sort of thing, but you might not be the picture of health within yourself. So if you get people that are, they want to get better at sport, you have to change your mindset and your plan for them. But then if you've got people that want to improve health, they've got different goals and a different plan for themselves. And, everybody's different. But that's probably the first thing that I listen to. And then asking them why, like, I hate the whole thing, like, what's your why? It gets me sometimes, but why do they want to do it? Like, what's behind it? Is there unhappiness because of how they look? I don't know. You've got to dig deep. Sometimes it comes out and it's quite emotional and there's things going on, but yeah.
When I talk to sales, I do some consulting for salespeople sometimes, and they'll come to me, or when I talk to them, because I've been a business owner, a sales manager, and a sales rep. So I kind of know all sides of that. And they'll say things like, I'm stuck, I'm burnt out. And I'll start asking them questions. And usually it is, I'm not kidding you, the 10th time I've asked basically the same question, but a different way, where the real answer comes out. Because usually they say, oh, I want to play with my kids. But in reality is, I cry when I look in the mirror, or I went to the doctor and I had bad. But it takes you a minute to get to crack through that veneer to where they're actually just go, I hate my job.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like it can take a while for them to open up. There might be like those first few things, like you said, but then deep down that there's a lot more emotional kind of want to do it.
Yeah. I hate, I hate the mirror. That's what I hate. That's what gets me back at it. I'm an old dude, and I sent Chasity a picture of what I wanted to get back to. And listen, I'm not making the cover with those pictures of any magazine, but I looked okay. I look pretty daggum good. And if I could get back to that, because right now when I walk by a mirror, I just kind of stop and go, you put that donut down and go eat that oatmeal off the floor right now. Get that oatmeal up and eat it. But a lot of people, it's vanity and ego and trying to relive some glory days. And that's why I think you need a coach sometimes to tell you, quit lifting the heavy weights. You don't need to lift the super heavy weights when you're, in the situation you're in, or quit eating that, start eating this instead.
But I mean, even on that note, that's hard as well. Like, I guess coming from an athletic background, you have all your PBs and where you were, back when you were in your prime. And if you're a competitive person, it's hard to get out of that. Like, I mean, even now, me and Chas will talk about it, and it's like, why can't I do this? I used to be able to do that. And you think, well, actually, you're, 15 years older than what you were when you were achieving that. But back then, we never had nutrition. That's one thing I wish. Like, I played in the Australian team for many years, but we didn't have nutrition coaching. Like, I've gone back this year, and thankfully, like with CrossFit and Chas's coaching, I am probably in the best shape that I've ever been. Like, I've had 5 years off of baseball, and I was able to go back, and my testing scores are still ranking up, and I got straight back into the Australian squad after not playing for 5 years. So it makes me it's not regret, but I wish that I had this sort of information and knowledge now, 15 years ago when I was actually in the Aussie team and I was young. But,
we all have that though. Well, when you get to be my age, you say things like this. And what's funny is I'm going to say it, and then in 10 years or 15 years, you're going to say it and go, oh my gosh, he told me I was going to say this. You're going to say this, back in the day.
Back in the day. When I was young.
My son will ask me something, and I'll go, back in the day. You have no idea. And the good thing is there's no video or evidence. I could have sucked, but nobody knows that. I can just say it. And I'm trying to work. I'm gonna do it before I end today. I'm gonna try to work something in. That's a surprise to Chasity. It's not that big a deal, but I'm gonna work it in. So a client profile. Let's talk about this. I don't think I've asked about that. When a client comes to you, have you found that you gear yourself more to the athlete, or is it more to the common person, or does it not matter for you? Just the profile of who comes to you, does that not matter?
Me, Chas, do you want to go?
Yeah, either one of you. I don't care. Jump in there.
You go, Chas.
It's interesting because I have a lot of people tell me they've gotten on the phone with me and they were like, I was scared to get on the phone with you because I thought you only worked with athletes. And I actually don't work with that many except for my coaches. For the most part, it's business people that are between the ages of 35 and 65. And they're just like trying to learn this nutrition thing and trying to get to the gym and fit it in their life and trying to not eat all of their child's extra food that they're like preparing and, trying to look sexy naked for their husband, that kind of thing. Like, so it's interesting. When I was deep into like CrossFit sport, a lot of my clients were kind of the newbie CrossFit athletes, and they were all into CrossFit about a year and a half in. And then now, since I've started my new company, I don't really work with athletes much. And I actually genuinely like the people that they're like, I've dieted a million times and it no longer works. And I just want to learn something that's sustainable. And can you figure out how to help me get there and do it, and how to move in a way that I like to move, instead of it being like, I want to be a professional power lifter. Like, I don't work with a lot of athletes anymore.
Renee, about the same for you? Is that kind of the same?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Like, I guess I've got, your general population CrossFitters. I do have one girl that I'm working with that's in the Australian baseball squad with me. She's played before, but like on that level of athleticism, she'd be about it. But then, you've just got your mums and dads that either just want to make themselves better. You meet a lot, I guess, because we're both involved in CrossFit, so they come from the gym. But then, like word of mouth, they'll pass on somebody else. I've just picked up another girl that she's just a friend that loves running. So, it's just general fitness as well.
One of those running freaks and weirdos that like to run.
I do not run.
I would have to. Hey, will you be my coach? I love to run. Absolutely not. No chance. Well, one thing that you're listening to Chasity and listening to people like you and Zeus and the folks I've met, is the dieting thing. The yo-yo diet is real. People try. It's the keto diet. Now it's this diet. I'm going to be vegan. I'm going to do a cleanse for 3 days, and all that kind of stuff can work temporarily. But one of the things I like about the coaching aspect is you're going to have ups and downs, even when you're the best athlete on the world. I mean, football players that play in the NFL, rugby players in the off season, they look different than they do during the season. The difference is learning that it's in your control. In other words, I can control the 10-pound window that I want to stay in if I don't want to get super heavy. So I think sometimes the world dictates to us the ups and downs. And I think what you guys provide is the ability to control when we turn the water on and when we turn it off in our own lives and how to do that. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. I like that.
Yeah, thank you. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
Well, but I
Because
mean,
you can't run the faucet all day long and all year long. Like
you
you just
can.
can't. That's why we're doing the challenge right now. We're like, okay, we want to change our body composition 8 weeks and then we'll stop. And then we'll like go back to lifting weights and eating more food. Hopefully we can last 8 weeks. But you can't diet all the time. And that's what most of society wants to do. They want to, I mean, everybody, the best example I always give people is like bodybuilders, because they're not shredded out of their mind 24 hours a day, every single day, 365. There's an off season. And most people don't think about the fact that there's an off season. They think they're supposed to lose weight and then keep losing weight and then stay in a deficit and and you just don't. You just don't post those off season pictures. You get a little fluffy and you post the skinny pictures.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I think that's the bad thing about social media is, I mean, I can't do it because I keep getting new tattoos. Chas is always like, you need to post on social media. And I'm like, I can't, this tattoo's not there anymore. You'll know that it's old. But people on social media, like you'll go out and get your professional photo shoot done if that's what you do. And you've got a backlog of photos. And so when people put them out there, wow, this girl or guy looks amazing for a whole year. But the public that sees it doesn't see that, 8 months out of that, they're in maintenance or even in a surplus and look fluffy, but they're healthy. But then when they look amazing, they're not healthy.
Right.
I'm just glad that I now have something else I can call myself. I'm fluffy.
You're fluffy. It's amazing.
I'm fluffy. Have you gained weight? I'm in my fluffy season. Thank you very much.
Fluffy season.
It's lasted 3 years, and I'll thank you to mind your own business. It's actually only lasted a year, and I'm down 12 pounds, 13 pounds. Thank you very much.
That's an achievement in itself.
Absolutely. So I see this is when I said that about the controlling the ups and downs, I've determined that I want to get back to a certain weight, and then I want to stay within 5 pounds up or down. I want to stay in about a 10-pound window. And if I can do that, it would be so much easier on my joints and my mind, because the gain 30 pounds when you're 20 and losing 30 pounds is way easier than when you're 50 something years old. And, you get to be your mid 50s like I am. You put on 30 pounds, it ain't going anywhere for a minute. It's going to sit there.
It's so funny. I think about that too, because it takes like 3,500 calorie deficit to lose 1 pound. So that's like 500 calories every single day for 7 days. It takes like 30 minutes to burn 300 calories on a treadmill. Like that's a lot of like extra work. Like to gain 30 pounds, you've got to do a lot of movement, a lot of deficit to get it off. So it makes a lot more sense to like lose weight and do it sustainable so that you don't gain that 30 pounds back. That's one of the reasons we teach it the way we do.
Up until last year, I've told you this, and people listening may have heard it, but last year was my year, my off year. I did good the 3 years before that. Last year, I gained a bunch of weight, so I'm in the process of losing it. But when I lost weight, here's my thing. Put on a 20-pound weighted vest after you've lost a bunch of weight and then walk around. Because I had, when I had gone through some stuff, I had lost some weight. And I'm like, I'm going to start training for the boxing matches I was doing with a weighted vest. I put on a 25-pound weighted vest, and I thought, I used to walk around with this. Yeah, that feels terrible. It feels horrible. And so that should motivate people, especially if you're somebody that's looking to get a coach and you're thinking, people only train athletes. No, they train you to be whatever you want to be. And it's all about habits and routines. Our habits and routines, this is called the transition. That's what I'm doing right here.
All right.
Super smooth. You're going to love it. Our habits and transitions, are they hard for you? Are you a very disciplined person, Renee? Or is it something you need somebody to kick in your butt to help a lot?
I would be a bit of both. I'm definitely not perfect. And I do fall off the wagon often. At the moment I've gone I think next Friday will be 40 days without chocolate. That had nothing to do with me trying to lose weight, but my, I guess, vice is chocolate. And I don't know, it's hard. Like, you've got to really want it to be able to give up something. And even like trying to create habits, you can get them for a little bit, but I think it's just it is hard to try and keep them day in, day out. I mean, we've been doing this cut, and I don't know how many times I've messaged Chas. I'm like, it happened again. I was so hungry. I ate, I just overate because I'm starving. It's huge. Like, hunger is massive, and it has so many emotions with it. And like, if you've never done it before, and then next thing you come with a coach, or like, we try to slowly integrate these things into people's lives. But if you've come from no background at all looking after your nutrition, and all of a sudden it's like, you need to drink 2 to 3 liters of water, you need to track your macros, you need to sleep 7 to 8 hours, you need to, don't exercise, but don't exercise too hard, make sure you're resting. And it's just like brain explosion. But I think like starting small, or picking a couple and then layering it as you go. So if you're terrible at drinking water, start with a liter, and then next week try and do like 1.5 liters, or I don't know how big a gallon is, but just start small. But and you've got to accept that there's going to be days that you fall off, but it's whether or not you can just get back on. And I think just not expecting too much of yourself, because I think we put so much pressure on ourselves that when we do stuff up, it can be like the end of the world. There's another word for you.
Thank you. No dramas.
No dramas. Like, you fall off, but then it's whether or not you can get back on.
Thank you, Chasity. I threw that in there. That's the word I was waiting for. No dramas. She was talking to me before he came on, and she kept saying, hey, I said, Chasity will be on in a minute. She went, no dramas. And finally, about the third time, I went, I don't know what that means. I got nothing. I'm not from Australia, and I'm not a cool CrossFit young lady. So I don't know how that fits in any of this. But you're right about the habits and the routines. And I love the part of giving yourself a little grace and a little mercy, because you're gonna mess up. And does it help? And if you guys got about 5 more minutes, are we good with time? Is everybody okay with time? Does it help though that other people you are their accountability partner? In other words, when you're a coach, they're looking to you. Does it kind of help hold you accountable that you're going to have to hold somebody else accountable?
100%. Like, at the moment, we're putting ourselves out there on Instagram every day, taking a photo of ourselves and putting our weight there. So even just doing that alone, you look in the cupboard and you think, shit, I better not eat that. Like, let's just step away, because you've got to take a photo tomorrow morning. But yeah, that's the thing that people need, because having a coach, like, we don't just talk about nutrition. Like what you said, they have a terrible day at work or something, and then they're emotional and they've just eaten through the cookie jar kind of thing. So it's trying to connect with them and get that out, to work out what's going on and why they do it as well. So it's just easy for them to go, I've got to report into someone at the end of the week, and I might not want to say that I've eaten, a block of chocolate, because that's not going to get me to where I want to be. So it just makes them, I guess, second guess their choices, which is great, because that's all it can take sometimes, is that little like 15 seconds of going, I'm going to eat this chocolate. Oh no, I've got to speak to Chas next week. Go back. Go for a walk. Get away.
Well, do you guys, I know you hold each other accountable, but I mean, and I'm assuming I know the answer, but I can't picture that every answer to a client. So if you're going to run into things that you kind of go, do y'all help each other? Do y'all share, like, hey, I've got this going on with a client. What do you think?
Oh yeah, we have a Marco Polo coaching group. Yeah. And so and then we also have a call every single Friday with all of us to talk about the clients inside my company, any clients they have trouble with, or like if I have a client, I'm stuck. Like, I've tried everything. Is there something that I'm not seeing? Because when you work with a ton of people, sometimes you just don't see something and it's like, to get new eyes on it is priceless. It's something that most nutrition coaches don't have. Even nutrition coaching companies, because I've worked in other ones, We didn't do that in the other company that I was in. We never talked to each other about our clients. It was more like, just go off on your own, you take care of your clients, and we'll come back together and talk about our wins. Well, we constantly get on there and talk about the stuff we're stuck with our own stuff, but also our clients. Like if somebody's, their weight's not moving, or how would you get this person to drink more water? What is another habit? What is a way that I could get them to show up for themselves? And so even mindset stuff, it's priceless, because it's a very alone process being an entrepreneur and building business and trying to help somebody, because you're kind of a counselor when you're a nutrition coach. So like to be able to have somebody, and all of us, we get together all the time and talk about it. It's really priceless. And it's also valuable. We also have Amanda that's a dietitian. I mean, there's sometimes medications can cause you not to be able to change your body composition, or a food's interacting. Like we as a company, inside my company, all these ladies, what's cool is we don't care if we don't care to say, I don't know. Let me get back to you, or I'm not really sure why this isn't working. Let me talk this over with people, which I think is the best way to be. Because
Have you ever had to? Well, have you ever had to say to a client, if they're telling you they're doing what they're doing, and you keep giving advice and it's not working, that you kind of in the back of your brain know they're just not telling me?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm giving you advice and if you're really doing it, I've seen how it works. And at some point in time, if it's not working, then unless there's a medical, or unless there's something that's exceptional, then you kind of know that the problem isn't the water. They're stuck mentally for some reason somewhere else.
Yeah.
You call them names? You call them names and make fun of them at that point?
No.
Is that what you do? Okay, good.
No. We just ask questions, try to figure out what it is. Because sometimes it's things that they don't realize. They didn't weigh, instead of weighing their food, they're measuring their food. Or, they're getting that extra 2 tablespoons at night of peanut butter that they forgot about. They're picking off their kids' food. They're actually not drinking all their water. Like whatever it is, there's all kinds of stuff that they leave out, because that's not the macros. That's one of the reasons our coaches are so good, because they actually talk to the clients and get to know them and ask their why, instead of just sending an email and looking at like, here's my macros. Okay, we'll change them. It's like, wait a second. There's so many things that can go wrong during the week that you need to talk to your clients on a regular basis.
I haven't slept good for the last 3 or 4 nights. And I remembered that when I was talking to you about a month or so ago, it's my green teas. I love diet Lipton green teas, but they have a little bit of caffeine in them. So I would drink 3 and 4 of those a day. I would just sip throughout the day like tea in England, just a little sip every now and then. Like most people drink a beer. I have my glass of whiskey or something, but then I go drink green teas, and I drink them right before bed.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed that about 3 nights ago, I said, I've not slept. I said, this morning, I haven't slept. And I look back, and next to the, where I'm sleeping, there's the green tea bottle. So I just came from the store before we came on here, and I ghosted the green teas. I walked right by them, shooting them a bird, not getting any more green teas for a while. I'm just going to do the water. And so when you were saying about how these little things that you just get in a habit and you take for granted, like I love almonds, but they're healthy unless you eat a bag a day.
Yeah, no, they add up quick.
I've got a great example of that. My flatmate's vegan, and he bought some dates the other day, which, it's a fruit. They're great. They're healthy. And then I decided to look underneath on the nutrition information. So 3 of those, I think one date was 48 grams of carbs. So like 3 of those at the moment would take my carbs out for the whole day. Mm-hmm. And so that's what you're saying about the almonds. Like you get told, eat good fats, eat nuts, but like a bag of nuts is not going to serve you well. Same like if I ate if I had 5 dates a day, I'm done.
Oh yeah, those go fast.
I ate a half a bag of almonds in about 9 hours. I go through them like it was like a Pez dispenser. I was just nervous eating. I'm on quarantine. I've cleaned the house 9 times. The yard's cut. My dog's pet. I've worked out. I've done work. I'm sitting on the couch with Netflix. I don't have anybody Netflix and chill with. So I'm Netflix and eating almonds.
Oh, gosh.
And then I look at the bag, and literally it's half gone. And I went, well, I'm not tracking jack today. Today. I'm not trying. A lot of sports. Let's start asking you some fun questions. If you could only do one sport for the rest of your life, CrossFit, baseball, rugby, whatever it is, if you could only do one sport, what would it be?
I don't know.
That's the fun part.
Can I just say, like, I wouldn't say CrossFit. I'd probably just say, like, gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gymming. Something where I can do weights, and because I don't want to thrash myself every day doing CrossFit. Like, CrossFit's amazing, but also too, like, it has its purposes. And I don't know, maybe just give me a barbell and some plates and some dumbbells. I'll be happy with that.
Do you use, and I'm sure both of you, do y'all use kettlebells?
Yeah.
Do y'all like kettlebells? I've only tried kettlebells about 6 or 7 times, and I like them. But I know a lot of people that once they try the kettlebells, that's what they're like, oh man, if you don't use kettlebells, you're not getting that. I'm like,
yeah, that's like a little cult in itself. Hey,
yep.
Kettlebell people. I don't know.
They showed me the one where you lay down and you hold it up and you stand up and you lay back down, and I loved it.
Get up.
Thank you. Yeah, but I loved it. But I was like, he was so into it. This was, last year, and I'm like, he's like, man, I just do like 50 of these every day. I went, you're a psychopath. I get bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
I would throw it. What's your favorite exercise in the gym and CrossFit? I've asked Chas, and then I asked Zeus yesterday, what's your favorite CrossFit exercise? Chastity's is to show off and walk across everything on her hands. That's what she likes to do in hand push-ups.
I do. I like handstand walking a lot. I don't know. I'm not super strong. I tend to go better at kind of like the moderately weighted things, but I do enjoy the gymnastic side of it. So yeah, handstand walking. I love handstand walking. I'll take that.
It makes you feel like a kid. Like you're just a child swinging around or like walking on your hands. Like, I love it.
Or wall balls. I actually love wall balls.
I like wall balls.
I hate those.
I like wall balls. And I like box jumps. I like doing the high box jumps. I love box jumps.
Until you fall and break your
chin. I've broken so many things. I've got scar. Now I'm at the point now, if I fall, I'll just go. I'm at that age, as long as it's not my hip.
He acts like he's 80, like he's going to break a hip.
I'm just going to come on here because you keep saying how young I am, so I'm really enjoying it.
Well, here's the cool thing. The older I get, everybody's young. That's the great thing. Everybody's young. Hey, so this is, again, the fun questions. What's your favorite protein? We asked Chas this yesterday. So if you were to pick one food, what's your favorite protein, your go-to protein?
Ribs.
Barbecue sauce on them or just dry? What is it?
No, barbecue sauce.
What kind of sauce?
Steak. I'll have barbecue sauce on ribs, but I do love a good steak. Like an expensive one that you kind of like save your money up for, that's cooked properly, and you just slide the knife through. I'm a massive protein eater.
Yeah, she loves protein.
My son's coming over after this. I only get to see him about once a week, and we're going to go on the deck. Social distance because of the damn virus, but we're cooking steaks. So that's what we're having tonight.
I would fly over if I could.
when you put the barbecue sauce on, is it a mustardy barbecue or is it more of a red barbecue sauce? What kind of sauce are you using?
The red barbecue sauce, yeah, like rib sauce. I don't know.
What's your favorite carb?
Carb?
Dates.
Donuts. Does that count as carb? But if I'm going to talk like healthy, I'd probably say like I eat brown rice a lot. Any rice, I'd say. That's a bit boring though,
Okay, mine's fruit either way, so I'm really boring. He hates my answers.
But I love fruit. I've said this to you before. I think fruit is my favorite carb. And I don't eat donuts anymore. I haven't had a donut now in 2 months, over 2 months. So
about time.
Fat. So I got a question. If somebody asks for fat, bacon. Is bacon fat?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'd probably have to say bacon. Fat's the hardest one for me to hit. I'm amazing hitting protein. Like you could just give me protein all day. Carbs, I'm kind of like, they're all right. But fat, I struggle. So I tend to have to add like a lot of oils or dressings to my sort of stuff. It's not that I'm opposed to eating avocado and that sort of thing, but I just don't drift to eating that. So fat's a hard one.
I think I think that's good for people to hear that coaches struggle with stuff like that too. That
Mm-hmm.
it's not like you get up every morning and, sprinkle the fairy dust on your body and go, okay, it's great. No, you get up every day going, if I eat one more freaking avocado today, I'm smashing somebody in the head.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
All right. If you could only have one, if you could only pick this one of the superpowers, you could be super strong, or you could fly. Which one?
Oh, I think I do like being. I'm going to go flying because in the current situation, I would really love to go somewhere else and see other people. So I will take flying for now.
Chastity, you picked flying too, didn't you?
Yeah, I've already been strong.
You've already. Yeah, I was giving you the chance to say the answer again. Thank you. All right. The last question I have for you, as far as the fun ones, and Chastity's already answered, so you don't have to. But this is my all-time favorite question, and it's not like I'm revealing a car. But your favorite, if you only eat one for the rest of your life, pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes. I've never really eaten waffles. Waffles aren't big over here.
Are your pancakes crepes or are they pancakes?
No, they're pancakes. So you can get crepes and pancakes and waffles, but I think
Zeus's pancakes were crepes, and so she said pancakes because crepes. But
yeah.
Yeah.
We don't really, I mean, we have waffles, but I'd say that pancakes would be they're more around.
So you've given a really long answer for this, but I think you snuck in there somewhere that you've never had a waffle.
No, I've had them. I have,
okay.
But it's not like something that it's not as common here. I don't think pancakes would be way more common. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, well, we need to change.
Waffles are quite common over where you are.
You need to, if you want to become rich, just start a Krispy Kreme donut franchise and a Waffle House. A Waffle House.
Bagels are so good.
Okay, so when we used to do the heavy powerlifting stuff, we would leave the gym and we would all go to Waffle House and we would get their skinless grilled chicken, steamed hash browns, and 6 egg whites.
Oh, yummy.
And it was a great post-workout. I mean, and we would take up 3 booths of I was the smallest of the group. These were giant, young, sweaty guys, and they would just throw 20 chickens. It was awesome.
Oh, their chicken is so good. I swear they put sugar on it. I don't know what they do to it.
I don't care.
It's the best. I always get their all-American, and it's like a grilled chicken, hash browns, toast, cheese, eggs, bacon, and a waffle.
Oh my
and I would eat all of it. It's amazing.
And then you go to church. Then you go to church and confession.
And you're like, oh. Okay.
So, okay, do you like to, real quick, we'll wrap it up. But you said you can't wait to travel. Do you travel a lot when you can, or have you not traveled and you want to start traveling?
No, I'd say that I've done a bit of travel. I mean, this time last year, I was in Europe with Zoos. I did 6 weeks over there. But we were supposed to have our FLA little catch up, and that got cancelled. And then, I guess like the flight credit's sitting there waiting to get used. But I love traveling. Like, it's amazing. Everywhere's so different from where you're from. So I've been to the States a couple times, but it's been quite brief. So to see more of it would be amazing.
What part of the States did you come to?
Well, I went down to Miami, and then I was in LA, and then I know it's not America, but I've been to Canada as well. So a lot of that's been through baseball, but
we need to bring you
brief.
We need to bring you to the southern part of the United States. Miami's southern, but it's not southern.
I'd love
Chastity knows. You need to come to where we say things like y'all, and you say sweet tea.
What's the hill thing? Chas says something about going up a hill, but it's a heel. Is it a heel?
Yeah, heel.
Okay. Well, my daughter makes fun of me because I say, what do you put in your car? What's the dark black stuff you put in your car?
Oil.
Oil. It's oil. I call it oil. And when we used to travel around, we go play these rugby tournaments, and we were playing a team that was on tour. She'd be like, "A what? A tour? It's a tour." I went, "I don't have time to go tour and oil." And she goes, "You mean you don't have time to talk properly? You got a college education." I'm like, well, it's their fault. They gave me the degree. I didn't beg for it. But yes, we say heel and y'all come on yonder, and you just need to come a little. Chastity will bring you up to North Georgia, Southeast Tennessee,
I would
and
love
when you go back to Australia, though, your eyes will be like this, and people will be like, "What happened?" I can't talk about it. I just too much culture. Too much culture.
Oh, no, I'd love it.
Okay, let's tell everybody. This is the part of the thing where we tell everybody how to find you guys. If they want to have follow-up conversations, they want to follow you on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you're at. I don't care who goes first, but y'all, everybody
ahead,
tell
Renee.
me.
I'm on Instagram. I think I'm Nae6, Nae, the number 6IX. Facebook, Renee Straumietis. That's about it. I think I'm on Twitter, but I don't often go on there.
She's also on my website if you want to see
Yes.
about her. FLAmovement.com. All of her bio and everything's on there. We actually are just opening up a group in June as well, because the group we had for Zeus closed, and I'm having some other people interested. So she's going to have a group in June, and you can find me on Instagram at FLA_movement and Chasity Snowden _FLA.
That's awesome, and I'm glad you both came on. Just a little bit of housekeeping, and we'll talk in code because I don't know if it's open to the public. The thing that got canceled this spring in Florida, has that been rescheduled?
Yes, September 18th through 20th.
You just threw it out there.
Yeah, September 18th through 20th, the FLA excursion. It'll be the first one with all the coaches there. So you might want to sign up for the groups, so that way you can get invited to the excursion. Come hang out in Florida with us.
There you go. All right. With all that being said, we'll do this again every time you want to do it, Chas. You can grab somebody. We'll come on.
Absolutely.
Renee, it was super nice meeting you.
It was amazing chatting to you too.
Yeah. Good luck. And what'd you say?
I'll get that T-shirt made up, Renee.
Yep.
You got to be honest. Even if you're in one of Chastity's shirts, that logo on the back, you got to have it. You got to have it. Renee. All right. We're going to say bye to everybody. Go have great days wherever you're at, and get a hold of Chastity and Renee if you need them. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.